the lights go out. The crowd roars. And in one single moment, everything Seth Rollins built comes crashing down like a condemned building. Bron Breakker just speared the World Heavyweight Champion into oblivion, Bronson Reed is standing over the carnage with a sick smile, and Paul Heyman, the man who swore loyalty to the Visionary, just raised their hands in victory. This is not a nightmare you wake up from. This is real. This is brutal. And by the time we're done here, you'll understand why this moment will echo through WWE forever. What you're about to witness is the complete destruction of trust, the shattering of brotherhood, and the birth of something truly sinister. And I need you right here with me, because this story, this betrayal, it goes deeper than you think. If you love the chaos, the drama, the moments that make you jump out of your seat and scream at your screen, then do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. Become part of the SLAMZONE family, because we break down these moments like nobody else. We feel what you feel. We see what you see. And together, we're going to relive the night that changed Monday Night Raw forever. October 13th, 2025. A date burned into the memory of every wrestling fan who watched Raw that night. Seth Rollins was riding the highest wave of his career. Just days earlier at Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia, he defeated Cody Rhodes himself to capture the Crown Jewel Championship. The Visionary stood at the absolute peak of professional wrestling. World Heavyweight Champion. Crown Jewel Champion. Leading the Vision, the most dominant faction on Raw, alongside his brothers Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, with the legendary Paul Heyman as their strategic mastermind. Everything was perfect. Everything was aligned. The Vision had torn through the Raw roster like a hurricane, leaving destruction in their wake. They had beaten down the bloodline. They had humiliated CM Punk time and time again. Seth Rollins was holding all the cards, and the entire WWE Universe watched as he orchestrated a reign of terror that felt unstoppable. But you know what they say about standing at the top of the mountain. The fall is always closer than you think. The arena is electric that night. You can feel the energy pulsing through every corner of the building. The crowd is hot, anticipating what the Vision might do next. Who's their next target? What statement will they make? Seth Rollins stands in that ring with the confidence of a man who believes he's untouchable. The World Heavyweight Championship gleaming on his shoulder. The Crown Jewel Championship proving he's the best of the best. And beside him, his enforcers. Bron Breakker, the absolute specimen, the second-generation powerhouse who has been tearing through opponents with the ferocity of his legendary family. And Bronson Reed, the 300-pound wrecking ball from Australia who crushes anyone foolish enough to stand in his path. Paul Heyman stands at ringside, that knowing smirk on his face, the advocate, the special counsel, the man who has managed the greatest in this business. And the Vision looks unstoppable. They look like they're going to run Raw for years to come. The crowd is a mixture of boos and grudging respect because even if you hate them, you cannot deny their dominance. But something feels different tonight. If you were watching closely, if you had that feeling in your gut that something wasn't quite right, you weren't alone. Bron Breakker's eyes, usually filled with that wild intensity directed at their enemies, seemed to linger a moment too long on Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed stood a little too far away, his massive arms crossed, his expression unreadable. And Paul Heyman, oh Paul Heyman, the master manipulator, he was watching everything unfold with the calculated precision of a chess grandmaster 3 moves ahead. The segment continues. Seth is talking about their dominance, about how they've proven that the Vision is the future of WWE, that Crown Jewel was just the beginning. He's holding those championships high, basking in his moment. And then it happens. CM Punk's music hits. The crowd explodes. Punk makes his way to the ring, that fire in his eyes, ready to fight, ready to throw down with the faction that has made his life a living hell for months. The Vision rushes the ring. It's chaos. Fists are flying. The crowd is on their feet. Punk is fighting back with everything he has, but it's 4 against 1. Bron Breakker is delivering those devastating shots. Bronson Reed is using his massive frame to corner Punk. And Seth Rollins is orchestrating it all, pointing, directing, commanding his team like the general he believes himself to be. Paul Heyman is on the outside, shouting instructions, loving every second of the destruction. But then, the arena, the entire WWE Universe, everyone watching at home, we all see it at the exact same moment. Bron Breakker stops. He just stops mid-attack. He's staring at Seth Rollins. Not at Punk. At Rollins. The crowd noise changes. That confused murmur starts to ripple through the audience. What's happening? Why did he stop? Seth Rollins turns to look at Breakker, and you can see the confusion on his face. He's saying something, asking what's wrong, trying to understand. And that's when Bron Breakker's expression changes. The loyal soldier is gone. In his place is something cold. Something calculated. Something that sends a chill down your spine. Breakker charges. Not at Punk. At Seth Rollins. The spear comes out of nowhere, a freight train of muscle and bad intentions crashing into the Visionary with such force that Rollins flips completely in the air. The impact echoes through the arena like a gunshot. The crowd gasps, some scream, the entire building seems to freeze in that single moment of shock. Did we just see what we think we saw? Did Bron Breakker just attack Seth Rollins? Seth is down. He's clutching his midsection, the air driven completely from his lungs. The championships have scattered across the mat. And Rollins is looking up in complete disbelief, betrayal written across every feature of his face. He's reaching out, trying to understand, trying to ask why. But Bron Breakker isn't done. He's standing over Rollins now, and he's calling for Bronson Reed. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to SLAMZONE yet, do it right now. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and turn on notifications, because this is the kind of moment we live for. This is the content that keeps you coming back. We're breaking down the biggest shocks, the most brutal betrayals, and we need you in this family. Comment below and tell me, did you see this coming? Were you shocked? Let's talk about it together. Bronson Reed steps forward. That massive man, that 300-pound colossus, and he looks down at Seth Rollins with absolutely no remorse. Seth is trying to get up, still confused, still in shock, still hoping this is some kind of mistake. But Reed's face tells the whole story. This is no mistake. This is intentional. This is planned. And Seth Rollins is about to understand just how far he's fallen. Breakker grabs Rollins and pulls him to his feet, holding him up like a sacrifice. The crowd is in complete chaos now. Some are booing with a fury that shakes the rafters. Others are in pure shock, hands on their heads, unable to process what they're witnessing. And Bronson Reed backs up to the corner, climbing to the second rope, his massive frame perched like a predator ready to strike. The tsunami. Bronson Reed's finishing move. Over 300 pounds of human being launching themselves through the air. And Seth Rollins, the world heavyweight champion, the man who trusted these men with his career, his legacy, is the target. Bron Breakker releases him just as Reed launches himself into the air. Time seems to slow down. You can see every rotation, every pound of force preparing to crash down on Rollins. The impact is sickening. Reed crashes down onto Rollins with the full force of a collapsing building. Seth's body crumbles under the weight. The ring shakes. The crowd's reaction is a mixture of horror and disbelief. Rollins isn't moving. He's just lying there in the center of the ring, completely destroyed. The championships he worked so hard to win are just feet away, but they might as well be on another planet. And then, the final insult. The ultimate betrayal. Paul Heyman slowly walks up the ring steps. The man who stood by Seth Rollins at WrestleMania when he defeated Roman Reigns and CM Punk. The man who called himself the Visionary's advocate. The man Seth trusted with everything. Heyman enters the ring, and the entire arena holds its breath. Seth Rollins, broken and battered on the mat, looks up at Heyman with tears of betrayal in his eyes. He's reaching out one hand, pleading, asking why. You can read his lips. Paul, why? And Paul Heyman, that master of manipulation, that genius of deception, he just looks down at Rollins with cold, calculating eyes. Heyman walks past Seth like he's nothing. Like all those months meant nothing. He walks directly to Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. And then, in the moment that breaks Seth Rollins completely, Heyman raises both their hands in victory. The message is clear. The Vision isn't Seth Rollins' faction anymore. It never really was. This was Paul Heyman's plan all along. Breakker and Reed are his chosen ones. His new clients. His new path to dominance. Bron Breakker, with a look of pure intensity, bends down and picks up the World Heavyweight Championship. He holds it high above his head while standing over Seth Rollins' broken body. The symbolism is devastating. This isn't just about kicking Rollins out of the group. This is about taking everything he has. This is about destroying his legacy. This is about showing the entire world that Seth Rollins was never the leader. He was always just a placeholder. The crowd is absolutely nuclear at this point. The boos are deafening. But mixed in there, you can hear it, some people are cheering. Some people respect the brutality of what just happened. Some people love chaos. And Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, backed by Paul Heyman, they're feeding off that energy like vampires drinking life itself. Medical staff rushes to the ring to check on Seth Rollins. He's being helped to his feet, barely able to stand. One arm is draped over a trainer's shoulder. He looks completely lost, a man whose entire world just shattered in the span of 5 minutes. And as he's being helped up the ramp, as he's stumbling away from the ring, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed are celebrating behind him. Paul Heyman is talking, probably already cutting a promo about the new era, about the real Vision, about how Seth Rollins was never worthy. The implications of this betrayal are massive. Seth Rollins, the man who just days ago defeated Cody Rhodes for the Crown Jewel Championship, is now completely alone. His faction turned on him. His advocate abandoned him. His brothers destroyed him. And Bron Breakker, that second-generation powerhouse, is clearly setting his sights on the World Heavyweight Championship. With Bronson Reed as his muscle and Paul Heyman as his advocate, he's got everything he needs to take that title. For Seth Rollins, this is rock bottom. Everything he built, every alliance he forged, every victory he claimed, it's all gone. Demolished in one night. One spear. One tsunami. One raised hand from Paul Heyman. That's all it took to dismantle the Visionaries' empire. And now he has to rebuild from nothing. Alone. Betrayed. Broken. But here's what makes this story so compelling. Seth Rollins has been here before. He's been the betrayer. He's been the architect of destruction. He turned on the Shield. He stabbed Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose in the back. And now, karma has come full circle. The man who built his career on betrayal just got betrayed in the most devastating way possible. And the question everyone is asking is, can Seth Rollins come back from this? Can the Visionary see a path forward when everything has gone dark? Before we get to what happens next, I need you to do something for me. If you're feeling this story, if you're invested in what happens to these characters, hit the like button right now. Share this video with your wrestling friends. Tell them SLAMZONE breaks down the moments that matter. And subscribe, because we're going to follow this story every step of the way. We're going to be here when Seth gets his revenge. We're going to be here when Bron Breakker makes his move for that championship. We're going to be here for all of it, and I want you here with me. The fallout from this betrayal is going to reshape Monday Night Raw for months to come. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, now backed by the greatest advocate in WWE history, are an unstoppable force. They've already proven they'll do whatever it takes. They have no loyalty except to each other and to Paul Heyman's master plan. And with that kind of ruthless mentality, every championship, every superstar, every legend on Raw is now a potential target. Seth Rollins has a choice to make. He can crumble under the weight of this betrayal. He can let it destroy him. Or he can do what he's always done. He can adapt. He can rebuild. He can find new allies, dig deep into that well of resilience, and come back stronger than ever. Because if there's one thing Seth Rollins has proven throughout his career, it's that he's a survivor. He's the architect. He's the visionary. And visionaries don't stay down for long. This moment, this brutal, shocking, devastating moment on October 13th, is going to be remembered as one of the defining betrayals in WWE history. It stands alongside Seth's betrayal of the Shield, Shawn Michaels superkicking Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window, Triple H turning on Shawn Michaels. These are the moments that transcend the business. These are the moments that create legends and destroy careers. Thank you so much for being here with me on SLAMZONE. This is the content we live for. The moments that make you feel something. The stories that stick with you long after the show goes off the air. If you love this breakdown, show it some love. Like, subscribe, comment with your thoughts, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when we break down the next massive moment in wrestling. This is SLAMZONE, and together, we're witnessing history. I'll see you in the next one.